as tragic as this incident is, as a heroic last gesture to save the female's life, from the reports that we've gathered, the male was able to push the female up and out of the water. She was completely submerged. He was able to get her out of the water, and truly, if it were not for him, I think we would have 2 deaths up here today.
Wow. Can you confirm that they knew each other, or?
I'm not sure yet.
You're not sure yet? Okay.
Yeah.
So she fell in first, and then he went after her?
Not 100% sure. It sounds like they may have fallen through about the same time. They were only about 2 feet off of the bank over here. There's a popular island over here when the water's low enough. You have an island that kind of recedes out. But the reservoir here can be pretty tricky. And even though they were only about 2 feet off the bank, the depth was about 10 feet already. So it's just really tricky with the grade.
Do you know what they were doing, or?
No, right now, as far as we know right now, it was just something to do, come out on the ice, and that was it.
And is this a popular area to ice fish and walk out on in the winter, or?
Every now and then we get some people ice fishing out here. I can't say, it's a crazy popular area, but, it's close by for, a lot of locals, so, we'll get people out here occasionally.
When did you guys recover him?
11:20 p.m.
Last night? Okay.
Yes.
Can you talk about the efforts that went into this? It probably was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have a multi-agency effort. We had the Tooele City Police Department, Tooele County Sheriff's Office, the Tooele City Fire Department. Just about every fire department here within the Tooele County area responded to help out in recovery and search efforts. The Department of Public Safety dive team came out because of their expertise with underwater rescues and recovery. So just a huge coordinated effort by everyone that, it's not the outcome that we were hoping for, but we're grateful at least to recover the body and be able to get the family some sort of closure. And
I know last night you talked about how this is, a third time, and are you guys thinking of making any changes to the area or adding any signage?
It's something definitely to discuss because, with this being the third incident, water incident in less than a year. I mean, February 13th of last year, we had a teenage boy who tragically lost his life in a very similar incident in almost the exact same spot. We had a vehicle go into the water where luckily a female juvenile was able to be rescued, but then we have this incident with the 20-year-old male, and it's maybe not a bad time to start thinking about some different approaches to try and make sure we avoid this from happening again.
What are some of those different approaches? What might they be?
Yeah, it starts at the smallest level and can go up to a bigger level. I think, for me personally, I talk to my family about the dangers of going out on the ice, and it can go up to a city level, whether that's, maybe some signage, warning people about the dangers, an ordinance. I mean, there's so many different approaches that I think we need to think about as individuals, families, and as a community to really rally together and solve this problem.
Are there any basics you want to tell people that might be common sense, might not be about when going out on the ice in the winter?
The ice, especially up here, can be so tricky. The incident we had February 13th of last year, again, a very similar incident. It was at night, almost the same time that this one happened. If you look out on the ice right now, you can see a lot of really thin spots. You can tell, on the shore, you can see that the ice is melted and there's water coming up. But at nighttime, it's so hard to gauge, if the ice is, thick enough, how deep it really is, because when it's dark out here, the ice looks thick enough. Last night when we were working this case, it was 38 degrees, so several degrees well above freezing. Right now it's about 48 degrees. It's, we put a coat on and we generally think that it's cold enough to go out on the ice, but we've got to pay close attention to that. It's just tricky.
Absolutely. And then my last question too, is there anything you want to say, one sec. Is there anything you want to say to the family or those connected to this individual just about his efforts or?
Our hearts hurt. To have this happen again, it hurts as a community, as police officers, as firefighters, as a dive team, seeing different things like this, it affects you and it hurts, and I'm not related to him, but we feel like, we're part of his family when something like this happened. It really hurts. I know residents of Tooele, whether they knew this person or not, it hurts because it reminds you of the tragic incident we had last year, just reopening a wound that really hurts. To the family of the victim, you know, he didn't die in vain. He was able to get her out of the water, and that was a pretty cool thing. Pretty heroic effort.